I'll introduce myself. I'm Ferry Kobus. I work for Just Lease as a developer, and we using React in our front-end stack. So yeah. So a little bit about me. Well, if you Google me, you find a fairy called Kobus. That's not me. Sorry for the bad quality. I'm 33 years old. I live in Arnhem with my girlfriend and 2 pets. I like snowboarding in the winter, mountain boarding in the summer. I grow my own vegetables, at least I try. And when I started working in this field, I built my websites with tables, good old days. Tabs, spaces, no. And at the moment I work for Just Lease, and we're a lease company. So we lease cars to consumers and for businesses. So if you want to drive a new car, come to me at the end of the talk. If you want to work at Just Lease, come to me at the end of the talk. Okay, so building a component library with React. Most of you, who's building a component library? Okay, with React? Okay, nice. I'll give you an insight in the journey we took at Just Lease. We're a marketing company, and we got lots of developers, and it's always like sort of a battle. And we solved that battle with building a library in React to keep the developers happy and to give the marketeers the tools they need to build campaigns, all kind of stuff, and I will go through it. So, what's it like working for a marketing-based company? Then I'll talk a little bit about how we began our React stack. Then I'll go talk a little bit about building a library. And at the end, yeah, we had some pitfalls. So I'm going to warn you about them. So what's it like? Well, who was yesterday at the sponsor talk? Nice, thank you. So you've met Bas. So for the guys who weren't there yesterday, I have a little video.
Dag 3. We lopen hier met een klein katertje en dat is niet van de alcohol. We gaan nu naar dag 3 en die start verrassend, want we zouden naar het alpine skiën gaan. Alleen daar waait het hard. Dus nu gaan we naar het ijsdansen of het kunstschaatsen. En ik vind dat wel leuk, want dat is een van de grootste Olympische sporten die er is. Vanavond de 5000 meter met Jan Blokhuizen. We eten in het Holland Heinekenhuis en dan moet de avond nog beginnen. Dus ik ben super benieuwd.
Well, as you can notice, he's a little bit energetic. So that's my colleague. And we sponsor a ice skating crew, and he was at the Olympic Games and he vlogged, and I want to give you an impression what my daily talks with him are like. It's like tuk 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 tuk, and as a developer, that's yeah, okay. So he's like he's the guy with great ideas. He thinks about campaigns, what we're gonna do, how we're gonna put the product on the market, what kind of products do we need. He makes campaigns like MediaMarkt. It's Dutch, oh no, I don't know. It's a company where a retailer where we put cars in and we try to sell them. We have like campaign. So, and we do it with WordPress. So, yeah, right. At this moment, we still have our main site is WordPress, and this is a little piece of the code in our actual site. So, that's. I want to hear some boo. Okay, so to give you an impression, this is our site. We sell, this is our main online shop to get customers. And as you can see, we have a lot of components. It's all in WordPress, and we decided last year, I will give you a timeline. So January 2017, the marketeers got to me and they said, we want this, we want that, we want to build campaigns on the fly, we want pages, templates, they want lots of stuff. We had a lot of bugs in the WordPress site, and I don't know, we can't just throw it away and start over. So the next marketeer came along. His name is Chris. He said, Ferry, I got a great idea. So, like a marketeer. So he wants to introduce a new product on a new label for the entrepreneurs. So for guys who work for themselves, like a hire or. And we're in April 2017. So I was thinking, I gathered some developers. We sat in a room and we said, okay, we're gonna do this not in WordPress. We're gonna do this differently. I was at that moment a Vue.js developer, and I sat in a room with 3 React developers. So we had a little discussion, and I lost. So, what did they want to build? It's called Movler. It's a label, and it looks like this. It's just a regular website. It's a restyle of our website, different colors, the same product tiles. A little piece of text, newsletter. So you got like all those components. And that got us thinking, we can use React because it's component based. So we started in May 2017. We had a little team, we did a prototype, we put it online. And what did we build? Oh, I'm going too fast. So we said, in that room, we decided, okay, we're gonna use React. We need server-side rendering for SEO. All the pages need to be indexed. So we had Node.js with SAS. Okay, Node.js for server-side rendering. We used SAS at the time for the theming because we're just building one site. And we had a Atlas CMS for the marketeers to put their content in, and we deployed it by Docker. So, July 2017, we had a prototype live in React with DevOps, building, testing, everything in it. And yeah, Chris was happy. The developers were happy. We had some new stack. We had some awesome techniques we could use. And it looks like match made in heaven. And then there was Leon. She is the online marketeer for Just Lease. So that's our main label. And she said, I want that too. I want no buggy website. I want it to be fast. I want everything Chris has, but just copy it, change the theme to this new layout. I don't want to use those shortcodes in WordPress anymore, so we need to eliminate it. I want the page builder, so I can build my own pages with components. So we just determined we have components, so put it in the page builder. I want no bugs. I want it to be fully responsive, page templates. I want customizable components on the left side. That's a piece of what I'm going to talk a lot about. And I want to build campaign pages. So we had a prototype and we had a set of requirements. And we tried it with Scrum. Well, it's more kind of a waterfall, but what do we need? So we thought about it. We want to keep Chris happy. We want to make Leon happy. So we took Movler. We said, okay, we're going to extract all those components. We're making it abstract. We want a theme independent. So every component can be themed for just Movler, for Just Lease, for we've got more sites. So MediaMarkt. So we're like, yeah, we need a team independent, and we want to support multiple sites and web applications. So if you order a car, you get an application, you can see your rides and so. Who was at the hackathon? They hacked with that data. It was really nice. And so we sat with a slightly different team in a room and said, okay, we're gonna build it. And there we go. It's August 2017. So we're gonna build it, and we're starting with this component. It's called the Carblock. It's a product tile, and Mover had one, Just Lease had one, and we thought, okay, we're gonna make it. So this was the Carblock in Moveler. And for the guys who know React, this is not valid, but it's just to give an impression. The code was really, really small. Like, it's just straightforward. We're using Sass, so we have class names. We've got some properties. We've got some fixed text in the component. So this translates to this. Well, we took the new design and we compared, like, okay, on the left side we've got the Moveler Carblock, on the right side we've got Just Lease, and we're like writing down all the differences. So what we start with the Moveler component Carblock, and we'll make it abstract and give it a Moveler theme or a Just Lease theme. So we've got one component that can render both versions. So what did we do? Well, we started with the props. So this sheet I highlighted, where we added props for displaying or not to display a piece of HTML. So in this case, if you don't have a delivery time, just skip it. If you don't have remarks, just skip it. So we were starting, okay, this is getting good. We still had Sass at this moment, and we said, okay, Sass is not so good for multi-theming. You get like a big configuration file, so we said, okay, we're switching to styled components. Anyone using styled components? Do you like it? Yeah. Okay, nice. So with styled components, you can add a theme provider. So you can say, okay, render this React component with this theme. So all the HTML blocks, we changed it with styled components. And we added the props. Well, we have the theming part, and we continued. Well, I was remembering no bugs. So if you're building a library and you're included in different sites, you're gonna include different implementations. So you have to call it always with the same props. So we put in Flow. Anyone using Flow? Okay, there's the guy here in front who wants to talk with you. So what's Flow? Flow is a library by Facebook. It's for static typing. JavaScript is you can put a variable, you can make it anything. So you can make it an array, you can make it a string, an integer. So Flow makes sure that your props are, in this case, it's the links, the info is possible string. So it can be null, it can be a string. OnClick is a function. So we added Flow. Well, while we're at it, let's add Jest. Jest is a testing library from Facebook. So it really integrates nice with React. So what we're doing here, we take our component that we built, we put in the props, and we created snapshots and we compare it. So every time a developer or pushes to the repository, it goes test all those components we built to validate it still matches the original snapshot. So if we have to update if you change your styling. So if you make something red, black, it will fail. So that's to prevent the bugs. Okay, so we were building components, and because it's a library, you don't have a site around it. So every component we built, the marketeer couldn't see what we were doing. So we added Storybook. It's really nice. You can configure it. We have it with theming, so you can select the Carblock. Yeah, it's below the cut. You can select the theme, so you can change you can see what it does with the component, how it renders. So it's a really nice feature. And well, we have a lot more components at the moment. And you can create stories. So you take the Carblock, you take the component, and you can say, okay, I want to make it variable. So we tested with a long make name, and it will fail because the styling would wrap or ellipses. So you can real-time see what designers are always making the perfect design. So when a marketeer fills something in, it's like, oh, my site broke. So we can prevent it by using Storybook. So, and then we had the next marketeer. His name is Rudy. He was like, just lease, great concept. We're gonna go to Belgium. So, okay, that's what we didn't anticipate at the moment. So we had our components. We had static strings because it was for Movler and Just Lease, it's all Dutch. So, and he wanted Dutch and French. So we added multi-language in November 2017. So as you can see in this slide, the Carblock is evolving. We're changing the props, we're making it better. We have dividers that was a HR, and we have the payment component at the bottom. We can put payment text in it. So it's like configurable. So if you want a French, just put all the things in French. If you want it blue, put the blue theme. So we're, okay, this is really going great. It's getting somewhere. And in February 2018, we went live with Just Lease Belgium. You can look it up, justlease.be. And it's completely React front-end with client-side, server-side rendering, headless CMS. The marketeers can build anything. It has campaign theming. So we were really happy. And at that moment, we had a library configurable via props. We have styled components and theming, so we can say we want Just Lease, we want MediaMarkt, we want Movler. Everything is tested by Jest. We have Flow, ESLint. Yeah, I didn't thought it was really mentionable for a slide. And we had Storybook. It's a really nice feature, and everything is multi-language. So we develop. And do you remember this component? Real small. And then we went to this. So there we go with Flow. Then we go with the props. Then we go with the components. So the components within the components. And there we go with the default props and the compose at the end with the high order component. So we were like building one small component and had like tons of code. So what did we learn from this? I don't think I'm going to make the 50 minutes, so you have lots of questions, I hope. So we might have over-engineered our Carblock. I guess we did. We just, oh, make this abstract and this, and we were adding features and make it nice and you can put custom components in it, and it was just like, okay. So we had like a massive code for just a small product tile. So where are we now? This is a different component, This is the component inside the library. You can import info from library and you get this component. If you see in the props, we have one prop called render occasions. And if you have show occasions on true, it will call that function. Within our site, we can import info. So it's like, that's our library. It's called listo, really great. And we just add the prop, what we want from the Justly side. So we have like, we're just building the pages, building the components, and we're adding occasions, because in Belgium we don't have occasions, but in the Netherlands we have. So we can make it a little bit more, not too generic, and we can make it specific within Justly's NL. And that's like, we're looking for the balance, how we can use a component, make it abstract, make it reusable, because that's what you want if you're building a component library. And then, but we wanted to add features. So this is our solution. We constantly, you saw 4 marketeers, they're just a part of the marketeers, and they keep changing the specs. So I want this, I want that, I want this, I want so. And what we learned is, although the specs keep changing, don't develop for the future. So we had like a discussion about versioning. So you have like a backend API. It has that component. The marketer can fill all the variables in the backend. And when we changed the backend, it's like, yeah, we need to build a new version. So what we did was we over-engineered a version control in the front end. We can say take version 1, 2, 3, 4 of the component. And we have a high order component with deprecation. So if we change something, we can put this function the high order component into the Carblock, and we can say, okay, this deprecated, don't use it anymore until all the sites are updated, and then we can throw out this code. We took a lot of time into it, and we never used it. We're constantly building new components, new versions, and we never used with deprecation. It's one time, I guess, but it's like, yeah, we built like a lot of code for, yeah, really nothing. It's quite impressive, by the way. But yeah, if you don't use it, don't build it. So what we learned also is DevOps is really important when you're building in React. We're like with 8 developers working on it, and we have built custom Dockers to run our code, to test it, to build it, to deploy it, to whenever we release a new library version, it's calling, this is part of the bash script we wrote. It's calling all our Bitbucket pipelines that are hooked in, and it says, hey, I've got a new library, just update the library, because it's an npm package. You can update it to the latest version, and put it in a pull request. So it helped us a lot with not checking out the new version, building a new package log. It's all automated. One thing though, we're automated that much that every time we have a release, the next release is always counting up. So we have major, minor patch releases. And if you do a major release and you merge the next feature in, it's a version on that major release. So maybe you are at 3.9 and you go to 4, but you want to make 3.10. That's not possible. So we're working on that. That's what DevOps sometimes means. What we're really happy with is Storybook. It's a really nice tool. If you're building a component library, you can showcase your components. You can make it configurable. You can add theming. There are add-ons for. And flow, most of the times. Updating flow is like a pain in the ass. So it's like you have to update it everywhere. So yeah, it's helping us a lot, but it's also giving us a little bit a headache. And just test fails because buttons are rendered in a different color or a different padding. Or I want to thank the team. Some are here in the audience. If you have questions after the talk, I can. Yeah, we all did our own part. I'm not a one-man army, as we call it. And yeah, thanks. I went a little bit too fast, I guess, but well, thanks.
Could you show us your storybook, maybe?
Yeah. Oh, live demo.
Yeah. I'll ask you some questions while you're finding it. Why did you go with Flow instead of TypeScript?
Because we chose React. We almost chose all the libraries that are from Facebook because it has a big community, and the long-term support is, yeah, it's like a neat integration between those two.
Cool.
So Storybook. Yeah. Well, let's go with the Carblock because it's the main item. As you can see, it's a Carblock. You have on the left side different options. We have added knobs and themes. So if you wanna, so it's now just switch the theme and your Carblock is rendering differently. You can remove. You can change text. I don't know where it is. Oh, there. Oh no. It's not good to let me type in demos because I always make typos and always want to fix it. So as you can see, you can just test out what happens when things go, like designers make something and you can test with Storybook what it does in your code. So for this example, if you put in a very long text, we first had ellipses, but then yeah, you're losing marketing text, so we made it differently, so to get multiple lines. Yeah, you can change the, let's make it really cheap. So you can test, or really expensive. So you can test, yeah, well, so you can test what happens if we have a really expensive car.
That car better be V-nice.
So, does anyone just shout a component and I'll show it? Oh, really?
Someone shouted page.
Yeah. Oh. Okay, so this totally renders a page with the Carrefour theme. So you can see it as this typography. When I change it to Just Lease, it gets a different font and different sizes and different padding, different colors. So here you have multiple car blocks.
How did you manage feeding data to your marketing pages? Because I imagine they don't have much structured content.
Yeah, we're just having a snapshot of the raw JSON output into the Storybook, and we generate.
Oh, sorry, I meant not in Storybook. So if your marketing person wants to create a new page, she says, "I have a new campaign." Then how do you handle that with WordPress? Because the things that are, and this is a problem with Drupal too.
You want to know something about WordPress?
No, well, I mean, any way of doing it. It doesn't really matter which CMS. But yeah, I mean, we'd love to see it if you can. But so when all of this is quite structured content, but when you have a campaign page, there could be anything on it. So how are you handling having that being editable?
Yeah, we have like having. We're having options. Okay, WordPress has meta boxes. You can add options to it. You can say I want. Yeah, it has. Oh, I'm going to explain WordPress here. It's not. So we have like child themes. and we enable certain options within a child theme. So Just Lease has MediaMarkt. So I can show MediaMarkt. It's like, it's totally red. And in the back end, you can say, I want this page to be rendered MediaMarkt. So it will render this page. It's red with yellow, with screamy fonts.
So it's everything on that page structured content. So for example, if you scroll down to the blue, there was a blue area. Keep going. There. So this content here, like the one in the blue.
In the blue?
Yeah, the blue.
Oh, it's just like a text editor? It's just, in the backend you can add components. Okay. So you can build a row, you can build a column, and it's handled in the front end. And you can, in columns, you can just put every component in there you want. So in this case, we have like, it's a text component, and it's a button component, and it's rendered in the front end. Is that what you? Yeah,
and then so can your editor select how they want that component to render, and then you just get a WYSIWYG up?
Yeah, it's configurable. So all the props I was talking about are configurable in the backend. So if you add a button, you can say, I want it to have a caret, or I want it to have more padding or less padding. So that component will render into a small piece of JSON. And the front end takes it, maps it, and puts it through the component.
Do you have any capability for previewing this?
How do you mean?
So if I'm working on this, and I'm editing stuff in WordPress, is there a way for me to see how it's going to look when it's all constructed on the live site?
No, that's one of the things WordPress can't do at the moment, because you have to save, and it will, well, if you publish it, you can see it. But we mostly work at I call it a staging environment. So you can build the pages there, you can see it, and then if it's finished, we deploy it.
Cool. It's a very hard problem, so yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Does anyone else have any questions from the audience here? Yes.
What do you use for a page builder in WordPress?
So the question was, what do you use for a page builder in WordPress?
We're using advanced custom fields. We have like, oh man. I will talk to you after the talk, yeah?
Yeah. Any other questions from the room? Unfortunately, Slido has disconnected me, so I can't. Oh, how many users are visiting your site on mobile versus desktop? Do you know?
Ooh, is it like 60-40? So 60% is mobile, and that's why all our components are responsive. We have, that's a nice feature in the backend, by the way. You can create a row, just like a normal page builder, and you can create columns. So you have like your grid, and you can say for each column how it will be on the responsive. Does that column need to hide, or is it going to, for each viewport, is it going to break, or is it going to go from 12 columns to 6, or so the marketer can create their own mobile pages. It's really nice.
Cool. And then people are wondering if you could show us your WordPress implementation.
Our WordPress implementation. I can.
I feel like, show us your underwear.
Damn. Yeah, we have like several instances. So we've got test environments on live. I was going almost to live, so I was go to that one. You can screw things up. Okay, so finally, so this is one. Yeah, it's nice to see, because it's one of the problems where I can take a page. I don't know what content is in here, so. Well, it's failing everywhere.
It's failing, but it looks much prettier than Drupal. So
we have like all all our vehicles, all our cars are in we call it the product database, and there's no connection. So this is the core of the backend, where you can add rows. So for the guy, take a good look. So you can add rows, and in the row you can give it a name, so you know which row it is, and you can set up background colors, images on the background. So if we go back to, this is a row with a red background color, and it has like a cut from left to right. So it's all configurable within this implementation. So you can save on which side do I want the cut, and the front end renders it.
Cool.
And okay, so last feature. So we can add columns, and each column you can say we have a 12-column grid. You can say so how it does adapt on mobile landscape, tablet portrait, and it's for that column. So all the components in that column will adapt to it. Okay, so.
And did you say you were thinking of migrating to Drupal?
It could be an option, because when we started out, if you build a page, it has just a few components, it has one or two background images, and now we give marketing the tools they want, and they go like nuts. They build like pages, and they're searching for the edges, and so there are so many renders in the WordPress backend that it's taking like 10 seconds to load if you save, or maybe longer. I don't know. I got a new issue in Jira to look out the performance killer in WordPress. So yeah, I'm struggling. So we chose this setup to can exchange the API. Mm-hmm. So if I'm convinced, if you convince me, I might pitch it to go to Drupal.
I'm not going to try and convince you, because then if you don't like it, I don't want to be blamed. Cool. Any other questions from the audience? Yes.
What kind of testing do you do in your build process?
In our build?
Sorry, I'll just repeat the question. What kind of testing do you do in your build process?
We're like I said, we're using Jest, but we're also starting the server. So we start the server, and we're in our pipeline, and we're testing if the site works. So this is going to be like, yeah, just give it a try. Let me see.
How are you liking Bitbucket?
Yeah, we're on Atlassian. We have like Jira, Bitbucket. So we're using pipelines. So let's take a green one, or.
So pipelines is Atlassian's CI tool?
Yeah, pipelines is you can create your own Docker with your own setup. You can create a YAML. You can create a YML file, and you can say run this with this Docker. Mm-hmm. So we have a React Docker, and in that we have like each commit. So this is a commit by Dan, and it will log into some to our own private npm repository, because it's a private package. So the library is in our own proxy. We log in and we just run install and test. And in the tests we're running Jest. Well, maybe could I better show the listo? So this was the site implementation. I will take you to the library. Well, somebody was working. So this is on the left side. You see we have different steps, and we can you can run parallel in Bitbucket pipelines. So we're installing all our packages. We run flow typed. So for the guy using Flow, we're doing that. We install Storybook because we have some dependencies, and then we run Jest, so all our Jest tests are run. So, we need to disable the console logging. Mm-hmm. so that there are no errors, but it's like just enabled in an update the console logging. So I might go too fast. I need to improvise, so that's, let me see. So we're executing all those tests if the component we originally created is still the same in this commit. So we just compare it like it's a snapshot. We're still evolving to go to like real screenshots and with, for example, Selenium. Or then we have flow. So it will check if all our static types are still matching, and if it fails, it will break the pipeline and it won't go through. So, and we of course, yeah, ASLint, so linting.
Cool.
Yeah, well, it's not that, how you say it, spannend? Exciting?
What was that word?
What?
The word you just said.
Oh, spannend.
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 Nice.
Exciting. It's not that exciting, but this is how we do our tests.
We're all nerds. We get really excited by this stuff.
Yeah? Okay, so maybe I can show you the pipeline itself.
Do you have any more questions? Yes.
Can you read it on Slido?
Can I read it on Slido?
It's like number 1.
Well, yeah, sorry, it keeps disconnecting me. Sorry. Can you just ask the question?
Right. So, how do you handle indents between components?
Okay. How do you handle indents between
Is
components?
it like native CSS, or is it like an
For-
indent component, or is it like a high-order component?
You mean the CSS for each component?
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
like layout. Do you provide a button with pre-built margins or not?
So do you have like a template for
I'm
your
not the
components?
CSS guy. And the CSS guy isn't here today, but maybe if we have like predefined padding, I guess, padding for buttons and stuff. Yeah, it's configurable within the theme. Okay, so we have like a theme for styled components. So we have the theme provider, and if we want to build the website with the just lease colors and the just lease padding, it's all predefined here. We have a base, and it inherits, so or overrides the default spacing. And the width theme is a high order component that renders the component with that theme.
Mm-hmm. Cool. All right, I think that's it then.
Go back to the
Thank you
pipeline.
so much.
Oh, no problem.